Good morning. It's beautiful to see you. It's lovely to be here inside today because it is too windy out, and I don't like to fight with the wind, and the microphone hears everything. So we're inside with the rocks, which is never a bad thing, and we just have two today. She says just like that's a bad thing. Here we have this one, which is agate, of course. Holly, good morning, beautiful. It's dyed, right? It doesn't come out of the earth this colour. This one was probably just, I don't know, grey and clear. And good morning, Mike. And it's been sliced, because you can see it's a slice through a geode. Good morning, Robin. Good morning, beautiful beings. And there it is. It's lovely to see you all as you jump on. I feel blessed when you come and join me. So, yeah, we're inside today, and I love this because the light comes through it. The window's over there. And there it is. And look at the edge of the thing. We so often think, oh, that's shiny, that's sparkly, that's lovely. Kylie, good morning. But the edge, that's what faces the world, so to speak. This is all inside, like us. It's got a little cavity left in the middle, and on both sides. And yeah, it's lovely. It's even very faintly, if you use your imagination, heart-shaped. So there we go. Good morning, Jen. I can see your little face popping up there too. The other one we have today, we seem to have a blue theme going on, is this lovely piece of celestite, of which I'm very fond. Yeah, what do I need to say? I love it because it's got this sort of cloudy blue thing going on, and you have this big, shiny, solid, trying to catch the light on a facet. There you go. This big, shiny, solid, one in a piece crystal here, which I really enjoy. And then you have this lovely growth here of all these small bits, and it's just beautiful. Andrea, good morning. Oh, 4:44. Well, there you go. Good time of day, any time. And it's lovely that the numbers line up sometimes. I always find that's just a happy thing. So there we are. Those are our two blue rocks today. And let's not forget the bottom. This one hasn't been cut, so it must have been a freestanding crystal that somebody found. It's got a little label on it from the person I got it from. It's from Madagascar. That's what the MG at the beginning of it is. That's how my friend Jenny Paulo labelled things. Lindsay, it is lovely to see you, and I am very well, thank you. Morig, it's you. Hello. Mouse of huggers. Oh, that's cute. So we've had our rock delight, and it's lovely to be here with you. And today I want to talk about distractions and confusion. And it was Shafi who asked that question, so I'm sure you'll see this, Shafi. This is your one. It sat in my pain points file for a little while, and yesterday I thought I'm going to talk about that one today. So yeah, but I think all of us face confusion, distraction, which is closely allied with stress, anxiety. Good point. What was the question, Lindsay? Thank you for asking me the obvious. The question was, how do I avoid distractions? The rock. One was an agate and the other one was celestite. You can enjoy them on the replay. They're very pretty. Blue crystals. Oh, that's just lovely how the little rocks, eye candy's really good. The question was, how do I avoid confusion and distraction? There's so much that's going on in the world that I don't understand, don't like, and sort of stressful. It's a busy, crazy world, and I find it confusing and distracting, and I can't focus on things, and I'm basically stressed. So that was the question, and I thought, that's a really good question, and yesterday I decided to address it. And I thought, well, what do you do about confusion and distraction? And, can you actually avoid confusion and distraction? And I realised, actually, you can't. There is always going to be stuff in your environment that has the potential to be confusing and distracting for you. Sometimes it's really in your face, like it was for me yesterday. All of a sudden, kaboom. And sometimes, you troll along without any problems and feeling fine. But there is always the potential in your environment for things to blow up in your awareness. Key, note that. Blow up in your awareness and become a big thing for you. And, and there's a whole nother thing, which we've spoken about last week, I think, that something can only be distracting or confusing or whatever it is when you perceive it outside of you, if there's something inside of you that recognizes that as a problem, right? Because if you don't recognize it as a problem, then it's not a thing. It's like being here when there's a moderate earthquake, and a lot of people in Wellington feel it, and the rock here is so solid, I don't even notice it. It's not a thing for me. It doesn't exist unless I recognize it as a thing. So, to get confused and distracted, you actually first have to recognize that there is something confusing or distracting in your environment. And I'm not going to talk about how that works, neural nets, association, pattern recognition. I'm not going to talk about that today. But that's the thing. You first have to recognize it as something and get distracted by it. But given that this is a normal operating function of your brain, is to make matches between what's inside of you in terms of memories and things that you know what they are and what they mean to you and what's outside of you, you can't put yourself in a box and avoid living. Again, speaking as somebody who really in many ways has done that and is still doing it. And I understand why. But the smaller your world is, the safer it is, but then it's small. And you're not interacting with the world because basically you're scared of it. So, you can't avoid stuff. It's out there. You can choose what you pay attention to. I haven't watched the news for a long time. And it's been a conscious choice. Because as Cryon says, and I think this is quite true, that a lot of the news is just designed to sell. And to sell, you have to get people involved. And quite often, they do that with fear. And then they chuck in a little bit of stuff that's sort of cute or happy. But fundamentally, they've scared you and got you involved because, I've got to see that, right? Because I've got to avoid it. I've got to know what's awful in my world so I can avoid it. Don't do that. Okay, I won't do that. No. So, thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate that. Sanchira, it's lovely to see you, honey. So, we cannot avoid distractions and confusing situations. They're going to happen. The question is, what do you do? Because if you try to avoid them, and if you try to, there's the thing, right? And you react, and then you're putting all your energy into kind of avoiding your reaction or controlling it, that takes an enormous amount of energy, and you're not putting any energy into the things you actually want to pay attention to or create or do in your life. You're just busy going, I've got to avoid all this stuff. It's a kind of defensive, fundamentally stressed and fearful position that you put yourself in. It's not very helpful. So what do you do when the shit comes down or blows up either inside of you or outside of you? And truly, it did yesterday. It really did. And I totally processed it. Well, most of the problem is how we process it. You're right, Sanchia. Again, I'm not going to tell you the story. I can't tell you the story right now. But the communication was really helpful. And it was just so kind. Well, the energy and time person took to write this message for me. But what happened was I read it. And by association, my brain went, oh my God, that means something really scary is going on. And I suddenly was full on in survival. I was afraid. I was overwhelmed. I was like, oh my God, brain stops working when you're in survival. Literally. Because if you've got to run from a lion, blood flow is not needed in the creative, rational part of your brain. It's about running away. It's about fighting. It's about freezing. It's about saving yourself from some life-threatening situations. And my brain shut down for a while. And I had to think, and I can't escape this either with you, Lindsay. It's really tough when you can't escape you can't walk away from the challenging inputs in your life. And, you can't walk away. It's there. And so you have to self-regulate in that situation, because that's actually the only thing you can do. That's the only power we have, is to take charge of ourselves. And so I didn't have the ability to sit down and do, what I would have loved to do, which is just to stop, 40 minutes or whatever. Sandy, it's great to see you. I didn't have that time. So I think, I can't remember. I think I was actually pacing through the house brushing my teeth. Because why stand at the sink when I can move and I can think? And I used toothbrushing time to actually run not just positive thoughts, but positive feelings in my body. And of course, I wasn't feeling positive. I was feeling scared. Truly, I was feeling scared. And I understood that my body was running a program. It was running a program. It had recognized a threat in the environment. And the program was so strong that it was very difficult to actually think greater than how I was feeling. Or I could think greater than how I was feeling. I could try to imagine the good feelings. And, I completely disconnected from the energy of my future. I went straight back into my lackful, fearful past. It was amazing. It was just, oh shit, this has happened. And so I was walking through the house and, well, what am I going to do? I need to open my focus. I need to somehow get into my heart, because this is my go-to. If you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling whatever it is, if you're feeling any of those survival emotions brought on by the hormones of stress because you've had a reaction to something in your environment, justified or not, right? Same thing, you don't feel good. The only thing to do is you got to do something towards making your heart more coherent and making your brain coherent. And I know that if I can open my focus, then my stress levels are going to drop, and they're going to drop quite quickly. And I was sort of doing what I normally do in meditation, and it wasn't really working. And I thought, hang on a moment. I'm walking through the corridor, right? And think, okay, what's the room either side of me? Because, I know the map of the house in my head, so I was putting my awareness in the space, on the other side of the wall. That's a cheat, to think, I'm opening my focus. I'm going beyond the walls, because the corridor, right? I'm on the other side. And then I went outside the house, and I was walking through it, so I had to engage my brain in noticing the space outside the house that I was walking through. Dale, I know this is a tough thing, but even if your son never gets a new program, you can get a new program. This is the thing that we have to come back to, is that we are the program and we create our lives. And we are quantumly entangled with everybody. And I'm sorry I called you Dale, you're Lindsay. My mind sometimes gets distracted by what I see. Even if nobody else changes, the fact that we change does change everybody else. And there's so many situations and stories of that. So, let me not get too distracted. Maybe we can talk about that another day. It's a really interesting thing. It's a really tough thing to squarely sit in the middle of whatever it is that's so difficult and so challenging in your life, and realize that somehow I must be able to change this. And it's really challenging. I get it. Fun does help to lighten the mood, dropping back into your heart space. But, it's very difficult. You're so right, Kylie. But yesterday, it was challenging enough for me that I couldn't do it, which was like, I'm back here again. I haven't been here for a while, because there's not a lot of awful, noxious stimulus in my life, and I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, you can reprogram a whole family by reprogramming yourself. I have heard stories of people who've done it. So we are much more powerful than we realize, Lindsay. This is the thing. Because what's around us is so loud and so 360 degrees, and your brain recognizes it so much as how it's always been, and therefore your brain says that this is how it's always going to be. It is the familiar past by which we extrapolate that our predictable future. And it's just, and so we think that it's so hard to change, but what we have is right here and right now. If I can change myself right here and right now, instead of broadcasting station Maddie as, how I was 2 hours ago, I am now broadcasting station Maddie at a different frequency, and it is quite astonishing what can happen when you do that. But of course the challenge is it can happen instantly, but more often it happens incrementally, and we have to be able to broadcast the station that we want to be on quite independent of everything that's going on in our lives. And that is the challenge, and that's why a lot of people don't do this, largely because they don't know how, and or it's just really hard, and they're not willing or able or whatever it is to do the work. And sometimes there's really difficult circumstances where you can't even hide yourself in a corner for an hour on your own and do the work. So please don't think I'm beating up on you, because the little that I've experienced of watching people tackle their own lives, I know that there are no hard and fast rules, and everybody's challenges are different, and everybody is amazing and worthy and so loved by the universe. But how we process it and how we experience it is so entirely us. So, confusion, distraction. And now I think it's time to do some practice, because we could talk about the problems, and what are we doing? Put our attention on the thing, the issue, the thing that we are saying is the reason why I am upset. And all that does is continue to affirm it. So I knew, walking up and down my house brushing my teeth, because brushing my teeth takes a while because I use a bass toothbrush and it's a different technique and it takes longer. I knew I had to get my attention off that thing which was there, screaming at me, firing up a ton of negative neural nets, and you know, enough said, I feel like shit. Why do you keep focusing on the problem? Of all the things and people and circumstances and reasons why you feel like shit, you're going to keep on feeling that way. And it's like, what? But, yes, that's the truth. So, whatever it is right now, get your attention off it for a moment. Come into your heart. As in, put your thinking awareness there. Well, this is a thinking process that we are doing. And I'm quite aware that it can be like taking a herd of noisy, yowling, fighting, screaming cats and saying, you come here. It can be like roping in an untamed animal. Put your attention inside your heart. And not just here on the surface of your body, but, you know, if your body's this thick or whatever, right in the middle. Like, you know, there's your spine, and there's your ribs, rib cage, your lungs, your heart's in the middle of your body. So put your attention in here. Oh, damn, I keep forgetting. The microphone never used to be not loud enough when I was inside. Now I notice that it's not. I'm going to hold the phone. So, put your attention in your heart. Just yank it away from all the reasons and things and people and circumstances that you think are the reason why you feel like crap. They're not. What happens is those things fire up a neural net in your head, which produces the chemistry, which feels crap. That's literally what happens in us. So, to change that, put your attention in there and start breathing in and out of there. Now, that's nothing mystical. Breathing in and out of there allows you to keep your attention in that place, and it gives you something to do while you're there. Because if I just have to stare at a candle flame, very soon, I'm not interested in the candle flame. I want something to do. I'm a pretty do-it kind of person. Most people who've been around me or know me for a while will know that. I'm an action kind of person. So give me something to do. Okay, breathe in and out of there. And make those breaths as long as you comfortably can. I don't mean force them. I mean let your breath guide you. Don't just think, oh, I got to breathe deep. I got to breathe in. I got to breathe out. If you breathe in, I did this morning because I had a lot of emotion come out in my meditation time this morning. Oh my God. Because it all came up last night, right? So when I sat down and got into the field and opened my focus, boom, there it was. And that's okay. I was just in my heart and letting it happen. So you start to put your awareness in there, and the first breath I took, I remember, I just took it in, I took it in, it was a big breath, and I sat there at the top of it, holding it, not holding it, but I actually sat with it until I felt like letting it out. And it was quite a long time because it was quite a lot of air, quite a lot of oxygen. And then I let it out. And then I think the next breath was quite big because I was still really, and they started to get shorter after a while. I don't choose the length of my breath. I just try to follow it. In and out of my heart, in and out of my heart. And I can feel this, you see, it starts to shift. If you just rope your attention in and put it there, you say, okay, I've got a heart. Right, Breathing in and out, breathing in and out, breathing in and out. You can put your hand over it if you like. Put both hands over it. The sheer warmth of putting my hands over my heart is nice. Just put your attention there. Now, as you breathe in and out, you've got some choices about how you can explore. And I'm feeling all kinds of things still bubbling and banging and bouncing around, and it's like there's nothing clear yet. Stay in your heart, please. Just stay in your heart. And I'm not suggesting that you're going to feel any different emotionally yet. If you're really upset, if your emotional state is low and it's been that way for a while, it's okay. If you don't feel any different, just keep your awareness there. Now, why is that important? Because if you keep your awareness there, just the act of putting your awareness in your heart improves communication between your brain and your heart. And those two need to communicate well for you to feel better. Never mind good. So just keep your awareness there. Just keep it there. Just put it there. Just rope it back in. Like training a dog to sit. Sit. In my heart. Sit. Stay. Be there. Okay. And when you feel inclined, I've got it now. When you feel inclined, take a moment, like your attention's in your heart, right? In the center of your chest. Take a moment to put your awareness on the wall or the space behind you. Just put it there, out there. And see how much of that wall you can have in your awareness. I'm choosing the wall behind you because you can't see it. You just have to imagine it. You have to engage your spatial sense. And now bring that awareness back into your heart. That awareness of space behind you. Whew, I can feel that from here, And now put your awareness, so your awareness is in your heart, but you've had this thought of the wall, or the land, or wherever you are behind you. Or if you're lying on a bed, the floor beneath you, behind is a relative thing. Whatever's behind you. And then, so your awareness is in your heart, you're breathing in and out of your heart. Now open your focus to the wall on one side of you, if you like, or both sides of you, if you feel like being adventurous. Just try that. It's a little bit like going cross-eyed, but with your spatial awareness. Just notice both walls on either side of you. And again, to me, it feels like a relief. I'm not even doing this. I can feel you doing this. Now, keep your awareness there. Breathe in and out of your heart, and keep your awareness on those walls on either side of you. And if you like, you can vaguely sort of brushstroke paint over the fact that there's a wall behind you. You might even be able to have those join up. And maybe there's a space in front of you as well. And keep breathing. Breathe. In and out of your heart. If you lose everything, come back to your heart. Breathe in and out of your heart. And just paste your awareness on the walls. And if you like, go outside them. To the next room or the space outside, the street outside. You do this, and I can feel your brain and your heart coming into coherence because we're quantumly entangled. Now, when you do this around other people who are incoherent, you create a coherent field. You just have to be strong enough to hold yours in the face of theirs. When you are the stronger energy, they'll entrain to you, or they'll go away. So that's how you change the people around you without doing a thing, except inside yourself. And I am way out of time, but I guess I wanted to follow that through. Stay with it. I want to say 2 notices. Tomorrow I'm going to be late because the Heart Field for Abundant Manifestation is having its workshop, and I'll be running it. So I'll be late tomorrow morning, and I'll be back in 3.5 hours to give you an update on our Sang Marie Gomez in the Gambia and what he's been up to. So I look forward to joining with you then if you can join me. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Late. Bye-bye.